What's up, guys? This is Zach here, bringing you all a first impressions video for Naruto Saga, a brand new free-to-play browser game inspired by the hit anime series. And, I almost hate to do this. Naruto is one of those franchises that has some pretty rabid fans who are gonna eat up anything related to the franchise. And I really feel like I'm gonna be hammered for the amount of criticism that you're about to see that I have towards this game. But here I go. Now, Naruto, as I mentioned, is incredibly popular. Not since Dragon Ball Z in the early 2000s here in the United States has an anime series been so successful. The show attracts fans of, well, virtually any age, from kids 8 years old to 40-year-old adults, and it has some pretty solid storylines alongside some eye-catching action. Now, likewise, the Naruto franchise has produced some pretty good video games, such as the Ninja Storm series, which plays out a lot like the old Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games, but the Naruto universe has never really been home for a true RPG, and especially not a massively multiplayer online RPG. The Naruto universe, though a universe I admittedly don't know that much about, is quite rich in lore, and it's a great universe in which to base an MMORPG. It's an incredibly unique setting. Naruto Saga is a browser game, as I mentioned. Now, there's plenty of quality browser games out there that can really rival client-based MMOs like City of Steam, The Lost Titans, and how can we forget RuneScape? The problem is that this game just doesn't do anything to stand out from a sea of similar browser games, and while fun in small parts, just reeks of a cash-in. To begin the game, you basically choose a character gender. And unfortunately, that's really the extent of character customization. You create a character, and then you're able to basically play the game on autopilot for the duration of your time in it. It's all too easy to rapidly click through all the windows like you're going to see me do in the video without having much of a clue what's going on, and you're winning while you do it, even though you really don't get a good idea of how to play the game. The tutorial is incredibly lacking and doesn't really explain a lot. Now, the storyline and dialogue in general is fraught with translation issues that make the legitimacy of this game feel suspect at best. And like I mentioned, it's very difficult to learn how to play a game when a lot of the tutorial dialogue boxes have so many grammatical errors and sentences that just don't really make a whole lot of sense. Music in this game is pretty sparse. There are sound effects in town and on the map screen, but no music. Music only plays during the battles. The music is passable and fits the setting, but it's ultimately fairly forgettable. Complete the first main quest, and the game does allow you to pick between one of three classes. Classes are Ninjutsu, Taijutsu, and Jinjutsu, and forgive me if I'm not pronouncing any of these names right. Once again, please don't criticize me for my lack of understanding Naruto lore. Ninjutsu characters are proficient in critical strikes. Taijutsu characters are proficient in block abilities. Jinjutsu characters are effective with dodge and can more easily avoid attacks. You can click on a quest objective to automatically route your character to each quest location. Now, to be fair, the artwork is nicely done and the character models are semi-3D set across a 2D background that looks pretty well representative of the anime the game's inspired from. It's just this ability to click on all the quest locations and your character automatically route to the area just makes this game feel even more like you're playing on autopilot than you truly are. Battles, though, are the game's strong point. They play out a lot like turn-based RPG battles within an MMORPG system. Players can choose from skills and take turns whacking each other until one guy dies. Some skills require players to engage in a quick-time event minigame, forcing players to press the correct key on a keyboard. One really cool feature that the game does allow you to team up with actual characters from the show itself. You can take full control of the characters in battle, and they all have unique skills and abilities. In a lot of areas, the game does force you to team up with other characters, but in part, you can actually select from a team of characters. Completing quests usually involves instantly teleporting from an area to another area, fighting in a battle, and warping back to town to get your quest reward. Quest rewards are standard fare, though the game does give you the ability to upgrade your equipment. and you will need to do so in order to stand a chance against the mobs in the game, as the mobs can dispatch your player character pretty easily, leaving your party members to pick up the slack. All in all, it's a standard browser game. It's fun in spurts, basically something you'd play for 30 minutes on Facebook, but it isn't really a contender for a serious MMO, and I suspect people will be drawn to the game basically due to its subject matter, but beyond being a unique setting for an MMO, there's just not a lot of game that isn't done better in other browser games, let alone other games as a whole, other MMORPGs as a whole. Still, if you are a fan of the show, I do recommend it. It's always fun to see digital representations of your favorite characters, and the battle system plays out very well. If you want to check it out, head on over to the game's official website. If you want to learn more about MMO Attack, head on over to MMOattack.com for more MMO gaming news, reviews, and giveaways.